As a matter of fact, there's a preacher, trying to figure out what name to give him, who happens to be in the White House today, that took out this full-page ad that ran in New York City's newspapers, that essentially placed a bounty on our heads. This ad ran 2 weeks after we were accused. We hadn't even gone to trial yet. 2 weeks after we were accused, the narrative of us was that we needed to be put to death. As a matter of fact, after Donald Trump put this ad in the papers, other media personalities began to chime in. One guy in particular was a guy named Pat Buchanan. He writes in the papers, let's just take the eldest one, Corey Wise, and hang him from a tree in Central Park. Let's take the others and horsewhip them. Maybe this will make the city's park safe again. We hadn't even gone to trial. They wanted to do to us what they had done to Emmett Till. We know the story. They said because he whistled at a woman. And the woman that was said to have been whistled at, just recently she recanted her whole statement. But they said that she had been whistled at by this young black man. And the response was that they went to his home. They drug him from his bed. They beat him to death, shot him in the head, and tied a cotton gin around his neck and placed him in the bottom of the river. The America that we live in is divided and unequal. One of the best things that happened to me was that I went to prison. And it sounds strange that I say that, because what happened really is that the Central Park jogger case is actually a love story between God and his people. It is a story about a criminal system of injustice turned on its side in order to produce a miracle in modern times. It's a story about how a people can be brought low only to rise because the truth can never stay buried. It's about a people buried alive and forgotten. The system forgot we were seeds. But instead of a social death, we emerged like a phoenix from the ashes. Because see, God is so magnificent in his infinite wisdom, and they say that man plans and God plans, and God is the best of planners. And so as you see, as they built the fire to consume us, they forgot the owner of the heat. Not only did God tell the fire, be cool and safe, but when I got into the prison industrial complex, about 6 months in, an officer walks up to me and asks me this one question. He says, "Who are you?" And I looked at him strangely because to me that question made me feel like he had been living under a rock. And I said, "I'm Yusef Salam, one of the guys they accused of raping the Central Park jogger, but I didn't do it." To my surprise, he said, "I know that. I've been watching you. You're not supposed to be here. Why are you here? Who are you?" He was tapping into high science, sparking the knowledge in my mind to get me to understand that I had to go back. I had to do a Sankofa moment in order to come forward. And in me going back and getting it, I had to really come to reality and understand that every single one of us is born on purpose and with a purpose. The whole system is trying to tell you to turn down your light, but God has already said be, and you are. And here it was, I was facing this unjust system, this unsurmountable system, and they were telling me to accept my fate. See, part of the fate that's wrapped in the whole thing can only be deciphered as we look at the founding documents of this country. Right then and there, you see the 13th Amendment, which clearly states that for the punishment of a crime, they can turn you back into a slave. When black and brown folks read that, they're talking about something different with us. Those words vibrate differently with us because they're talking about our ancestors. They're talking about a reality that they want us to forget. They don't want to pay us no reparations. They're telling us that America is just. God spared me so that I could deal with America today. I was born on purpose and with a purpose. As a matter of fact, I was chosen for this.
Yes.
I was chosen like nobody's business. You can imagine being a 15-year-old child, being told that you're going to go to prison. And this is the worst crime that you can go to prison for. The only crime that trumps this crime is child molestation. They're telling you that you're going to lose your life. This is the end of your life, and you just need to accept it. All throughout my trial, I had been looking at the people that were vilifying me, the prosecutors, and then they got the jury pool to chime in, and they were also looking at me and vilifying me. I couldn't understand what they were looking at. I've been over 6 feet since I've been 12 years old. And with the flat top, I was a little bit... I didn't know what they were looking at. They were looking at my future self. They were trying to throw dirt on my birth. The day that they asked me, after they reached the verdict, if I had anything to say before they sentenced me. And I said yes. And I stood up. I began to see clearer. And when I stood up, they began to shrink. And everybody involved who thought they were doing something valuable said, Yusef, just try to throw yourself on the mercy of the court. Seek the least amount of time possible. But see, I was going through a parallel education. While I was learning what they was teaching me, my mother was also teaching me about the real Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She was teaching me about Denmark Vesey, Toussaint Louverture. She was teaching me about Malcolm X. She was teaching me so much that when I stood up, to me it was the last moment that I would ever say anything again. And these were the words that I chose to say. I said, I'm not going to sit here at your table and watch you eat and call myself dinner. I'm 16 years old at the time. Sitting here at your table doesn't make me dinner, just like being here in America doesn't make me an American. Let us begin. Stress is the anger that is built up inside. Rage is the anger that is no longer built. Taking on a sucker that soon you have killed. American free will doesn't mean you can kill. And take another person's life, you live your life trife. I'm a skill builder, so in skills I do build. Creator giving knowledge to this wise black man. Soon to enhance my words across the land. I'm a smooth type of fellow, cool, calm, and mellow. I'm kind of laid back, but now I'm speaking so that you know. Got used and abused and even was put on the news without clues. Some gave clues, selling not like fools. Now check it. Who did what and who did who in? Put in a situation that you don't know what to do in. Some brothers go wild and we're not down with them. Who would have thought I'd have to lock in? I stand accused. Checking the scene from how the situation was. Instead of getting facts, the media made you blurred. Now the people don't know. All they see is the media. Never hear the blame because they're constantly deceiving us. The DA's wrong. This is her master plan. This case is not a case. It's just a crafted sham. Yo, instead of trying to get your name made, it's reconstructing the crime that really pays. Islam. La ilaha illallah, being supreme over Satan, but no man is Allah. Yes, I'm a science dropper on the righteous path. So how the hell could I take a rapist path? Think about that, and then think about this. All my friends, it was me they dissed, they're dismissed. Because I don't really need any friends like that. Like when I really needed you, where were you at? I'm not dissing them all, but the ones that I called that went and dissed me. Like I was an inch small, like a rat, a mouse. Not even a man, wrongly accused. Like the knives in my hand. How does it look? Me clock, now I'm shook, but like Matlock, soon the accused gets off the hook. It's real when she remembers and says, damn, the cops did you in, I stand accused. You people stop. This racial disperse. Hey yo, you seen that kid Benson? He's in a hearse. And so we take it to the Benson hearse fields, Rice had bulletproof vests, we had no kinds of shields. How does it look? They killed a black man being black. It's time we take a stand. In our situation, they saw our faces clear, but not mine. Not because of fear. It's because the black race was disgraced, and for the Muslim, they must have felt shame. But I'm not to blame with the words you bought. The media took our words to paper once the cops distorted. I told the cops truth like this, and then boom. They were smacking my man Corey Wise in the next room. Now I know why the Rostas can't stand the Bobby line. They never helped, they just babble on. I used to think the people and cops were cool, but who protects us from you? I stand accused. Like if I had known anything about what would be in the future, I would have had an imaginary mic and just dropped it. Because see, when life gives you lemons, you gotta make some lemonade. I chose those words specifically because I came from an era where there was messages in the music that we were listening to. And there was always music in the message. Hip hop was unlocking people's minds, and when we saw Queen Latifah with a crown on our head, everybody wanted to put a crown on their head. When Eric B and Rakim were doing their thing, everybody wanted to be like that. It was a proud moment. But here I was facing the inevitable. This was so crazy that it took me going to prison to realize that I needed to be rebirthed. It took me to go to prison to realize that I was born into this world, but I had to be placed back into the womb of this negative society. To be shaped and stretched and formed in order to be born again into a world in order to deal with what we have to deal with today. No room I've ever been in, nobody I've ever talked to, if I asked the question, I said, can anybody raise their hand who's decided to be dead or in jail before we reach the age of 21? Nobody ever raises their hand. But somehow, that same reality has been placed upon us. Somehow, the communities that we come from, we say to ourselves, man, I'm gonna go to jail. That's a rite of passage. Matter of fact, me and my homies, we're gonna be in there holding it down. Those of us who've seen when they see us have already seen that not only aren't you gonna be in there with your friends, not only are you not gonna be holding it down, but even if you try to write your loved ones, even if you try to write your friends, Miss D. Wise used to ask my mother to write Corey. Not only was it illegal, we would have both received more time. And it was something that was hard for the viewing public to watch because Corey went to jail because of me. There he was, clear as day. I remember it as if it was yesterday. Police are right there saying, you look like the person that we're looking for. They asked me my name and I said, my name is Yusef Salam. They said, yes, you're the one. They asked Corey what his name was. He said, Corey Wise. They looked at the paper, flipped it upside down, looked behind him, underneath him, couldn't find his name nowhere. Then they asked him the question, you want to come downtown with your buddy? You'll be right back. The only thing that was missing with that statement was the modern day wink emoji that we find in social media. And in his mind, as he said in the film, he said, man, if I don't go with Yusef, man, his mama killed me. I gotta go. That's my boy right there. unbeknownst to him, they